Thanks, Owen. We were actually trying to brand them without that lot, but still, thank you. Okay, so as Owen said, we're going to talk about the Wales Nation brand, a brand that we've been working on for the past 18 months for the Welsh Government. But first of all, a little bit about Smorgasbord. Can I just check, is it this one or this one? This one. That's the taller one, yeah? I think so. Okay. So Smorgasbord. We are Smorgasbord. We are a team of 6 people based in Cardiff, the capital city of Wales, and Amsterdam. And we split our time between both cities dependent on where the work comes from. So all the UK-based work comes through the Cardiff studio, and all the Dutch and international work comes through the Amsterdam studio. We work on strategy, branding, content creation, selection of good things, bit of an explanation of why we chose Smorgasbord. Why the Welsh Government chose a design studio with a Swedish name, I have no idea. But there we go. I need to gallop through this because I've been given 10 minutes. So I'm just going to start off by showing you a quick selection of our work. So that was a quick overview. Now this is a slide, not to show you where Wales and Amsterdam is, but the point of this slide is really to sort of, what was really crucial for me when designing the Wales Nation brand was a bit of objectivity. Because I don't think that you can do justice to a country if you're living there. If you've been asked to brand the nation, I think you need that objective view. So whilst most of the team are based in Cardiff, or they were during the rebranding of Wales, I was based in Amsterdam in our little studio, hidden away with my great uncle looking over me, bottom left-hand corner with his bunch of sheep and sheepdog. But this is where I worked on most of the Wales brand because, as I said, I think it's really good to take yourself away from being in Wales, in the spotlight all the time. Why Amsterdam? I moved to Amsterdam 9 years ago to be the creative director of MTV Benelux. I love the city. It's a really vibrant city. I'm sure most of you have been there. It feeds me, basically. Great stuff happening all the time in terms of branding, in terms of architecture. This is where I would play tennis if I did play tennis. So it's large-scale stuff. It's small-scale stuff. The 3 crosses of Amsterdam, the crosses of St Andrews, which is basically Amsterdam's coat of arms dating from the 15th century. That crops up time and time again on street furniture, on publications, on communication. You know, it's really, really tight. They really get their graphic design and brand identity in the Netherlands, as most of you would know that. Anyhow, coming on to Wales. Google Wales and that's what you get. Nothing wrong with that, but we felt that we could do better. So, yes, women in tall hats, a bit of bara breath, Welsh rarebit, rugby, daffodils, you get the picture. But, however, that wasn't really my Wales. Call me biased, but I think Wales is pretty epic on all fronts, and you know, it really wasn't being represented in the way that I see my nation. Compact, let's call it compact as opposed to small. 2 hours from London. Sounds as if I'm working for the tourist board now, but it is pretty epic. It's got an amazing landscape. Cardiff, the capital, is an incredible city. Amazing festivals. You've got Festival number 6, you've got Green Man, etc., Brecon Jazz, and yeah, a lot to do there. So, coming on to the brief, this is what we were briefed with. We were charged with creating a compelling and visually consistent nation brand built to be applied across all consumer-facing government sectors, from tourism through to business to food and drink. So, whilst we launched it in the tourism sector, first of all, we built it, we constructed it for pan-sector usage. So tourism was seen as the first step, but then we had to apply it to business, food and drink, and now we're working on transport, health, and what else? Study, actually. So before we sort of picked up a sketchbook, went anywhere near the Mac, I worked with a close team of 5 people before I brought the rest of the team on board. With the client, and we worked out 5 core objectives. And I think this was really crucial, and this really shaped where we went with the creative. So they were elevate our status, surprise and inspire, change perceptions, do good things, and obviously be unmistakably Wales. For me, it was the first one is most important, because I think Wales is it's been kind of underrepresented. I think not only within the UK, but also internationally. And being Welsh, coming from Wales and having lived overseas for quite a few years, I know how good it is. A part of me was telling me that I shouldn't be telling you guys how good it is, but you know, we were given a task, and hopefully we've delivered that. So this was our start point. This was the last iteration of the Welsh brand. That was designed in 2006. Nothing particularly wrong with it. I'm sure it was right at the time, but as you might be able to tell or not be able to tell, that is an abstracted dragon, which is the national symbol of Wales. But I really felt that we were, or I should say the government, the nation, were missing a trick, because it didn't have much in common with a national flag, which is actually rather iconic. So we just felt that we weren't leveraging that in the right way. So essentially, we wanted to bring a better, more realistic dragon back into the frame. And we came across this little gem on Facebook. And I think that's a fairly partisan but fair point. So we thought, okay. However, we have a slight issue with dragons in Wales. That's 6 of them. Dragons haven't been respected, let's say, in the past. And I think that's why a lot of people were saying, don't default to a dragon, that's the worst thing you can do. But I really felt that, no, the dragon is the right icon to embrace, but, you know, we had to do it properly, and not like this. So, when used properly, I think a dragon can be strong, distinctive, confident, proud, and iconic. So we went about essentially drawing the definitive dragon as we saw it. So it took about 500 attempts, but essentially we did actually get to it fairly quickly, because there were so many bad examples out there, we knew what not to do. So that became if you like, the hero element of the rebrand. Also, we looked at taking another element out of the national flag, i.e. the horizon line. And this crops up time and time again in the branding, whether it's in photography, subliminally, or in infographics, or any other layout. So, to go with the hero mark, the dragon, we decided that a bespoke typeface was needed too. And we worked with the Colophon Type Foundry from London, who I believe are here this evening, to develop Cymru Wales Sans, because we felt that the Welsh language is so rich, and it's got a lot of different elements that really haven't been used in the past. So we felt that having a bespoke typeface would really give us a sense of place. And then actually the typeface itself has become more of a sort of golden thread than the dragon icon itself. So we started by looking at the Welsh typographical heritage, two main books, Llyfr Du Caerfyrddin and Llyfr Taliesin. They really informed the way we looked at the letter forms. But I think it was crucial that we didn't sort of stray into the territory of pastiche or parody, because it's very easy to do that. One of the typefaces that has always been associated, not only with Wales, but with Scotland and Ireland as well, is American Unical, developed by an Austrian in America, New York, I believe, in 1954. I don't know why it's been sort of embraced by us since, but basically, there's a lot of this around. So we had to be careful not to go in that direction. So we started off by looking at, what other nations were doing, looking at other alphabets, other typefaces, what we liked, certain characters from other typefaces. And that really informed our journey, and then Colophon took the baton and took it to the next level. So I mentioned earlier that the Welsh language is pretty different. I mean, that is a double D set over two Ds, two consecutive Ds, and that is a digraph known as a th in Welsh. So we felt that that was the key to making Cymru Wales sounds different. That's a quick overview of the character set. And this is a quick Welsh lesson. So in English, Brecon is Brecon. In Welsh, it's Aberhonddu. So the first question a non-Welsh speaker asks is Welsh a dialect of English? Nope. Totally different. So, Cardiff, Caerdydd, and that is basically the defining element. We've got 8 digraphs, otherwise could be referred to as glyphs in the Welsh language, and we developed, along with Colophon, as I mentioned, 5 of them into these joining characters. So whilst you see 2 characters, they're linked, and they've only got one sound, so that became quite a defining aspect. So Eschewed is a place name in North Wales near Blaenau Ffestiniog, which is lucky enough to have 3 digraphs in the name. So, it looks very different straight away. So as soon as you drive into a town, you see that sign, set in Cymru Wales Sounds, you know you're in a different country. So we didn't want to scare people away by going full on, if you like, straight away. So we developed 3 levels of Cymru Wales Sounds. So level 1 typically could be used for a sort of more sober or formal business communication. Level 2 is the one that we use most often. And then level 3 has got more personality, it's got added personality. So level 1 might be used for if you're talking to a business audience. Level 2, as I said, somewhere in the middle. Level 3 if you're talking to, let's say, the North American tourism market. So that allows designers to dial up the personality as they seem fit. So I mentioned that it was constructed for different sectors through the government. First sector was tourism. So you'll see that we used level 3 on the left there. That's a typical spread from the first tourism magazine. We're actually in the process of developing a Cymru Wales serif as well. That's Tiempos from the Clim Foundry. That's a very good stand-in. But we're developing that for release in early 2018. That's it as applied to a job we did for Red Bull. So that's a place name in Pembrokeshire. So straight away it gives you that sense of place. And we also used it experientially for the first tourism campaign that launched under the new Wales brand. So we built a selfie magnet, basically, which tied in with the hashtag, the strapline for the Year of Adventure 2016, Find Your Epic. So this is an 11 metre by 4 metre typographic sculpture that we toured around Wales. And then, after rolling it out in tourism, we rolled it out in trade and invest, the business sector. And it's exactly the same typeface. We've just used the lighter weight and we've tracked it out. But it's one typeface for all sectors. It's one brand for all sectors. So it is a rebrand, but the continuity for us was as key as the rebrand. Another example for Aston Martin. And after business, we rolled it into the food and drink sector. And we really did put the typeface sort of front and center here. And I mentioned earlier that we've started working with the transport sector of the Welsh Government, as Transport for Wales. And we've just developed, again with Colophon, a stencil version of this called Cymru Wales Transport. There's a little preview. This launched last week. So I'm up to 15 minutes, so I'm just going to finish off with a quick 3-minute case study recap.
In the summer of 2015, Smorgasbord was charged with redefining brand Wales. Our mission has been to develop a strong and unifying pan-sector identity for our nation's future, a brand that drives Wales forward on the UK and international stage, and that inspires the people of Wales to get involved. An identity that is proud of who we are and that is contemporary and engaging to the world. A consolidation as much as a rebrand, the new identity is the visual expression of our beliefs and values. And where better to start than with the dragon that sits proudly on the Welsh flag. Y Ddraig Goch is the epitome of the Welsh nation on both the national and international stage. Strong, distinctive, creative, and confident. This new reductive and contemporary rendering of the familiar icon crucially re-establishes the link with our national flag. Another feature informed by the flag is the dominant horizon line, itself suggesting infinite ideas and possibility. Our bespoke typeface takes cues from the Welsh typographical heritage. It features a number of special Welsh characters or diagraphs that are wholly unique to Cymru Wales Sans, a first for a contemporary digital typeface. These characters will allow designers to bring in as much sense of place and character as is required, representing Wales to the world in an authentic and creative way. The typeface is designed to work in print, on screen, and online, and specific weights, cases, and cuts have been selected to represent different sectors of activity, from tourism to business, food and drink to transport. Our choice and naming of colours has been directly informed by the Welsh landscape and its vernacular. The colour palette is wholly ownable in the same way as our new typeface, and each of the 18 colours is named after a specific place or location in Wales. Just as our colours have been informed by our landscape, we suggest that colour palettes can also be created in the same way. Photography plays an equally important part in the identity. 90-degree aerials and bold horizon lines are established as signature styles. Our aim now is to bring a strong vision together with great design and bold ideas across Wales. To push our nation's story forward, to create compelling, new narratives. Narratives that elevate our status, surprise and inspire, change perceptions, do good things, and are unmistakably Wales. According to the rough guides, the national spirit is undergoing a remarkable renaissance. The ancient symbol of the country, the Ddraig Goch, is waking. Past, present, and future. This is Wales.
Diolch, thank you very much.